In 1994, everyone was waiting for what promised to be the most legendary duel in Formula One history: Senna versus Schumacher. The legend versus the future. The most feared three-time champion of his era against the young prodigy who had come to change everything. But the weekend in Imola didn't deliver a showdown. It delivered a tragedy that no one would ever forget. On Friday, a driver almost died after a brutal accident. On Saturday, another crashed at over 300 kilometers per hour and never opened his eyes again. And on Sunday, the greatest driver of his generation crashed into a wall and became the second driver of the weekend to lose his life. All of that happened during the San Marino Grand Prix in 1994, and nobody did anything. Not the FIA, not the teams, not the organizers. The race wasn't suspended, nor was the event canceled, because stopping it meant losing millions of dollars. And everyone who could have stopped it chose the same thing: to protect the business over the lives of the drivers. That's why the warnings were ignored, the information was manipulated, and the deaths were covered up. The result was the longest, most frustrating, and most unfair trial in the history of the series. 11 years that ended with no one found guilty and no convictions, even though the evidence was clear. This Grand Prix exposed the worst side of motorsport, a tragedy that paralyzed an entire country and left it in mourning. A tragedy that everyone saw coming and that could and should have been avoided, but that, out of pure greed, no one wanted to stop. Today, I'll tell you everything that happened during the most tragic weekend in Formula One history. The tragedies, the terrible decisions that were made, who was responsible, and what the consequences were. And stay until the end so you understand how these events changed the history of the sport forever.